The movie starts with some bad guys breaking into a British government lab and being mean to the scientists to steal some really advanced technology. Then a top British military person named Khan decides to give a special job to an agent named Nathan. Nathan's job is to get back the stolen tech and find out why it was stolen. Nathan talks about his plan to put together a team for this job. He first suggests a guy named Orson, but Khan is worried because Orson likes expensive things such as flying on private planes and drinking expensive wine. However, Nathan says Orson is the only one who can handle such a tough job. But Orson is on vacation in Morocco at that time, so Nathan plans to meet him there later. The next day, Orson is not happy to find Nathan in his hotel room in Morocco, but they are actually good friends. Nathan tells Orson about the new job and introduces the team, including Sarah, a female hacker, and JJ, Orson's assistant. Nathan assures Orson that JJ has the skills needed for the job. The group picks up Orson in Morocco and flies to Madrid on a private jet while Sarah and JJ get there first. Orson still prefers their old hacker, John, because Sarah talks a lot. At the airport, they start their mission and quickly find a person who stole items from the lab the day before. They plan to get back the stolen stuff and follow this person to find out who they're selling it to. Nathan also gets 2 more agents for the operation. But during the mission, these agents are knocked out by someone they didn't expect. Even Sarah, who hacked into the airport cameras, didn't see it coming. Orson has a rival mercenary named Mike who, along with his team, caused the recent trouble. Mike is also after the same thing they are. Luckily, Orson and JJ found out just in time. They stopped Mike's team from taking a package from an old man. Even though they stopped the surprise attack, Mike's group kept following them. Nathan tried to get information from the hard drive in the suitcase, but it was locked, and they were running out of time. Later, Mike's people blocked their way. At that important moment, the old man told Nathan to take the hard drive to a cafe that afternoon, saying his wife's safety was in danger. Nathan did what he was told and left the suitcase at the cafe. Soon after, a stranger picked it up. Sarah used her hacking skills and found out that the buyer was a lawyer named Harris, who worked for an illegal arms dealer named Greg. Orson knew about Greg, and after some investigation found out that Greg was organizing a big charity event for rich people in another city. To get Greg's attention, Orson and Sarah made a plan without telling Nathan. Surprisingly, their first step was to go to Los Angeles to get a famous actor named Danny Francesco, who was Greg's favorite actor. People said Greg really liked Danny a lot, so he offered $150 billion for him to come to his birthday party, but Danny said no. Then, Orson and Sarah made a plan to convince Danny to agree. Something surprising happened. Sarah found a secret recording showing that Danny had a romantic relationship with his brother's wife. She also discovered problems with Danny's main manager. At first, Danny refused Orson's idea, but when he found out about the recording, he agreed quickly. The next day, they all went to France for a charity event hosted by Greg on a fancy cruise ship. Sarah acted as Danny's girlfriend, and Orson pretended to be Danny's manager. Greg was very happy to see Danny, and even bought a $20 billion necklace as a gift to start a conversation. Greg, who was known for flirting with famous girlfriends, tried to flirt with Sarah, thinking she was Danny's partner. They planned to hack Greg's phone, but his assistant took it to another room. So they had to change their plan because Greg wanted to be with Danny. Meanwhile, GJ and Nathan were hacking the ship's security systems from their hotel room. Unexpectedly, a member of Mike's team came to the event, so Orson had to handle the situation. Simultaneously, Sarah snuck into the room housing Greg's phone, but Harris noticed her. Luckily, she deflected suspicion with smooth talk. At the same time, Orson attempted to bribe Mike's men with an expensive watch to abandon their mission, but Mike's arrogance led Orson to abandon this tactic. A fight ensued, but Orson proved to be a far superior fighter than his adversaries. Meanwhile, Danny informed Greg that he would portray a secretive billionaire in his upcoming film. Greg found this role quite similar to his daily life, so he invited Danny to his posh mansion to observe his daily routine for reference. He also asked Sarah to join them. During their meeting, a group of Ukrainian Mafia members, led by a man named Alexander, unexpectedly arrived. These individuals were Greg's clients and admirers of Danny. While they were taking photos together, Greg tried to get closer to Sarah, but luckily, Orson interrupted and halted their mission on the ship. They successfully hacked into Greg and Alexander's communications. Surprisingly, Alexander and his crew were the ones who had stolen technology from the lab, while Greg was merely the intermediary. and they still didn't know the buyer's identity. At that time, Nathan and Orson were also unaware of the type of technology that Alexander had stolen. So Nathan was sent to infiltrate Alexander's place and hack their computer. When he entered the enemy's compound, Orson used anesthetic gas to put everyone inside to sleep. Orson was supposed to hack Alexander's laptop in his safe, but he seized the chance to steal some jewelry and money from their headquarters as well. As he was leaving, Orson had to fight 2 Mafia members and Alexander, who wasn't affected by the gas. The next morning, JJ, who had managed to hack Greg's phone the previous day, finally got to listen to Greg's conversation with 2 men named Trent and Arnold, who were the buyers of the stolen items. However, during their conversation, they did not specify what type of technology they were purchasing. They stressed that the deal happening the following day was very confidential, so they avoided talking about the location over the phone. Consequently, Nathan divided their team into 2. First, Sarah and Danny would act as if they were on vacation at Greg's villa to gather information about the technology included in the upcoming transaction. In brief, Sarah and Danny reached Greg's lavish villa, noticing Greg's immense wealth. He even had rare luxury cars, one of which Danny was set to use in his new movie, which really impressed Danny. While Danny and Greg were off enjoying drives, Sarah managed to secretly access the security cameras in Greg's house and sneak into his study undetected. She began hacking into Greg's computer files, but unfortunately, she couldn't find any data related to the high-tech transaction. Only logs of dealings with outdated terrorist weapons. Meanwhile, Orson and Jay were in Turkey tracking Alexander, who seemed to be acting as the intermediary in the deal. Soon, they noticed Greg's lawyer Harris in the same vicinity. Orson then decided to follow Harris. Unfortunately, Harris realized Orson was tailing him. During the pursuit, JJ blocked all of Harris' communications, but Orson struggled to catch up since Harris was on a motorcycle. In the end, Harris managed to slip away by entering a building. He cleverly tricked Orson by placing his phone in a tourist's pocket and pushing the tourist from a height, making Orson think the fallen tourist was Harris. Harris then tried the same trick on Orson but ended up falling himself. Later that evening, Nathan learned from a source that the technology Alexander had stolen was a highly advanced AI capable of hacking any system on Earth, including national defense systems and potentially launching a nuclear attack. Based on the information obtained from Harris' phone, the AI transaction was scheduled for the next day. The following morning, some of Alexander's agents were coming to pick up Harris from his hotel, so Orson had to disguise himself as Harris while JJ secretly placed a tracking device on the agent's car and followed them. After Orson was taken to a secure location, JJ positioned himself to guard Orson from afar with a sniper rifle. Later, a representative from Alexander arrived with the stolen eye technology. However, they needed a 15-digit code known only to Greg to verify its authenticity. Orson called Greg to obtain this code. Unbeknownst to Greg, Sarah had infiltrated their phone line and altered Orson's voice to sound like Harris. Greg, unaware of Harris' death, didn't suspect a thing, yet Sarah's hack was detected by a tech-savvy subordinate of Greg's, who noticed their network had been compromised. Fortunately, Greg's team discovered this only after Orson completed the AI transaction. Realizing the danger, Sarah and Danny attempted to flee Greg's villa, prompting Greg to command his men to pursue them. Meanwhile, Orson's identity was exposed when one of Alexander's men recognized him from a previous encounter during the heist at Alexander's headquarters. Fortunately, JJ used his sniper skills to shield Orson. Orson tried to escape in a car equipped with AI technology, but unknown troops arrived in helicopters and attacked everyone, even destroying the car Orson was driving. The leader of these troops turned out to be Mike, who successfully foiled Orson's escape. JJ continued to monitor Orson from a distance and sensed something unusual about Mike's team. The team discovered that they were also targeting innocent people working for Alexander. Mike even instructed his men to kill Orson before leaving. Luckily, JJ defeated Mike's men who wanted to harm Orson. Sarah and Danny tried to run away from Greg's troops, defending themselves with the few weapons they had until they pushed one of the enemy's vehicles into a deep valley. Orson and JJ followed Sarah using a helicopter they took from the enemy. When they got there, they shot down one of Greg's men with a missile. Nathan, angry because Mike messed up his plan, tried to figure out which country Mike worked for but couldn't. He thought Mike wanted to use the AI technology for himself. So Nathan made a plan to make Greg cooperate. Greg agreed when he heard the plan and said that Trent and Arnold were working with Mike to steal the AI technology. Trent and Arnold wanted to use the AI to mess up the world's banking system, making all money useless except for gold. They had been gathering gold for a while, so this plan would make them super rich. At night, Greg and Danny went to Trent and Arnold's place, where Mike and his team were also there. Greg invited everyone to talk, keeping them busy while Orson and JJ attacked Mike's team. Greg was secretly mad at Trent and Arnold for breaking their deal. To show them what happens when they betray him, Greg blew up some nearby buildings. Then he told Danny to give a list of names and places of Trent and Arnold's family members, saying their safety was at risk unless Trent and Arnold paid their due commission in 5 minutes. After delivering the threats, Greg and Danny left. With everyone focused on Greg's scary warnings, Orson went to face Mike. The threat to his mom made Trent really worried, so he cut ties with Mike. This caused a big fight and Mike won. Meanwhile, Orson fought Mike's remaining guards as he made his way to the top. Just as Mike tried to surprise attack, Sarah, watching with a drone, warned Orson just in time. In the end, they got the AI technology, and JJ and Sarah picked up Orson. While this was happening, Sarah told Orson that Nathan had gone to DOA Qatar for an urgent job. They went to DOA to give the AI technology to Nathan. Nathan was happy, but right away talked about a new mission. However, Orson and his team said no, choosing to enjoy their break instead. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next video.